Hello, everybody, and guess who we have today in the house? It's Aurelien MANGANO, and Aurelien, it's amazing to have you today. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you very much.
I'm especially happy to host you today and to share this conversation with everybody else. I know they're going to be learning more about things that they want to learn about. And just in case anybody who's watching this episode who has not met you before, I'd want to introduce you real quick. And basically, like, Aurelien is a dedicated leadership and executive career coach. He's a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, who empowers ambitious leaders to unlock their full potential, regain focus, and build fulfilling careers aligned with their ikigai. So he is working on the intersection of passion, strengths, values, and what you can be paid for. And he specializes in transformative coaching using leadership development, communication, branding, networking, influence building, ikigai, emotional intelligence, neuro-linguistic programming, and focus coaching. Aurelien is excited to introduce soon his Executive Visionary Leader program designed to develop executive presence. And he's going to be crafting a compelling vision and strategy to transform leaders into actionable implementation of their dreams and vision. This program addresses a common gap among leaders in companies, moving beyond management to inspire and mobilize people to join and realize a shared vision. Aurelien, what is this about? What do you mean when you say visionary leader? What's your definition of visionary leader?
First of all, I would like to address the leadership because it's most of the time misunderstood. We confuse very often leadership with management, and leadership is really inspiring others to follow you in your vision and building something that is great, that is your vision, your strategy. Management is more on the implementation, following the structure and making sure that it's happen. But having a great vision, being strategic and making it compelling for people to follow you is really something that I think we are missing in a lot of our companies right now.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think a lot of people are talking about leadership in the past decade. There has been a lot of, ideas and conversations about leadership. A lot of them are, you can actually say, shallow, and very few are deep and, really effective. Before we go deeper in understanding where you're coming from, Aurelien, and like what you're trying to introduce to your people, can you tell us more about your history in the corporate world?
Sure. So I worked at the beginning as a software developer. I was working to make some Java website. And I will tell you, it was not my area of love. I was doing it because I have to do it. And I thought that it was a path to go to management. And actually, I very quickly told to my manager that I wanted to go more in project management and things like this. And I have the opportunity to be taking a small part of the project and leading it really from the beginning. And I really started this from the beginning, and I increased my leadership, my skills. I was not the best communicator at the beginning. I made a lot of mistakes, but with the time I learned about it. And the important is to learn from your mistake. Then I grew to a project manager, and this role was very challenging because I learned on the job. I was really not having any real support. My manager was supporting me in my mistakes, but I didn't have training. I didn't have anything. I didn't even knew that the PMP and PMI was existing. So I was just doing project management as I was able to do. And my biggest challenge here was really the stakeholder management. It was finding what my stakeholder was really needed and adjust my scope to it. And it took me about 5 years to really understand how important it was to do the stakeholder engagement. because I was thinking that it was project management, as we always told, manage a scope, manage a budget, and make sure that we deliver on time. And for me, project management is not about this anymore. For me, it's about understanding what your stakeholder want, what your client want, customer, and make sure that you deliver always the best value to them and adjust your priority along the way. Then I grow as a business analyst. I work in Schlumberger at this time for the automation studio management. And I was working to improve the process of the company. It was very interesting because I touched a lot of topics such as the sales, improving this process, the procurement, understanding how the HR, recruitment was working. So I touched a little of all the area of the company and understood a lot of area of the company, improving their processes, but also understanding the different challenge that different department may have in the company. And yeah, it was very good. Then I decided in the early stage of the COVID to quit my company. And I decided to be closer to the business and understanding as a customer success manager, what I can bring value to people.
What do you mean by ikigai? A lot of people don't know what this is. Can you just clarify a little bit on that, Aurelien?
Yeah, sure. So ikigai is a very simple concept that is very powerful. It is finding your strengths, what you are good at. And we all know when we were young, we were good at speaking, or we were good at connecting with people. We were somebody that was helping people to get together. I mean, there is a lot of small skills that we have even when we are very small that are natural, and it is what we are good at. We have some skills that we develop with the time, with the learning that we can be good at, but this is a foundation. After, you have what you like to do. And what is very interesting is people think that when we are good at something, we love to do it. And it is not true. For me, the example is I'm very good at finding issues in software, but I hate to do it. It is something that I don't like to do because for me, it's detail-oriented, and I'm not a detail-oriented person, and I'm good at finding it, but I don't know how, because I don't like to do this. And after, you have all the values, what you can bring to the world, understanding this area. And for me, I understood that later, because it was a journey to go to the Ikigai. I started knowing that I wanted to be a leader, and I tell, if I want to grow as a vice president or C-suite person, I need to be better at my business acumen. So I tell, I want to go to the customer success management to understand better my customer and really be very focused on this customer and business acumen. And because of some job description that was not totally aligned with my understanding of what was the job, I will tell, few years after, I decided to learn a little more about coaching, and it's where I discover really my passion about doing the coaching, helping people. And it's where I really find my ikigai, because I'm good at listening, I'm good at connecting with people. I love to listen people and give advice, but as a ICF coach, I don't have the right to give advice, but I help people by asking the question to find their own answer and develop people. And I'm very happy that I help already hundreds of people meeting with me, but also thanks to my social media, I'm sure that I help people that don't even realize just by reading my social media, they learn some lesson or articles that I publish in Forbes, as you tell. And the last element is probably the less important in life, but also the most important in the same time, is be paid. Yes, because usually we consider this as very important, but if we prioritize only the money, we will not be happy of doing it and we will not be good at doing our job. So it is really looking at how you can align all this, making something that you can earn money, but be happy to share and be happy to stand up every day and do for your job. So it is my
Wow.
ikigai.
Wow, that's a huge background, Aurelien. And when you're, as you speak, like absolutely, when you're working on a project, people think that it's the plan, it's the milestones, it's the steps. And then there's a very important factor that is never on the paper, is never in the documents, is the people and how they're going to be behaving and how you're supposed to be handling it. And like, I mean, amazingly, you are one of the people, and the way you'll behave and you will react is also not written there. So it's a part of the exploration process. And yeah, it's definitely very hands-on, very experiential. It's what you've been through. It's a big deal. And you mentioned something about the trigger point was COVID. What made you make a decision back then that I'm going to go for my own business? What is the trigger point that helped you make that decision and it became so clear before you?
So it was not at the COVID really that I switched directly, but because I saw that I was in an oil and gas company and I saw that with the COVID, people may not go so often to work. I will have thought that the price of the oil will have go down, that really the need for oil and gas will have reduced. I mean, even we need it everywhere. I know, I mean, it's in computer, in anything that you have around. I mean, even a person that is against oil and gas cannot live without anything that is touching at any time oil and gas. So it's something that, I mean, I'm a very ecologic person naturally, so I will tell oil and gas will not align totally with my purpose in life, and perhaps it was a reason it made a little of a clash in a way, but it was also, I mean, I love my company. It was, I mean, I have to thank you, thanks my company for developing me, because I think I would have never learned as much in leadership and how to do this, except I would have been in these companies that I work for. So this is something that I want to really highlight. It's not that I was against anything of my company. It was really that I didn't feel that I was totally aligned. It was a time I need to leave the company because of my status also that was changing. And I have to take a decision between continuing and perhaps not having a job when I come back because the COVID will hit and they will not rehire me, or taking the chance of going to something very different. And the decision of going for entrepreneurship and coaching was really took actually a few months ago in July.
Wow.
I decided to do coaching at full time because I realized that even I not paid for what I'm doing as a coach, I love to do it. And it was really the understanding of the ikigai, making something that I love to do, share with people my knowledge, helping them to grow, be a better leader. I mean, being an executive visionary leader, hopefully, that will bring really the bridge between having a great vision, because I saw in my multiple companies that I work for, in project management institute that I'm very involved in, I heard a lot of people that have great ideas, but that have a lot of issues to implement correctly this vision. And according to an article and statistics that I saw recently, only 8% of the companies are able to have a good strategy and implement it. And 8% it look like nothing.
Shocking figure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really I mean, it should not be this figure. We have all a background when we are a C-suite of something where we have a lot of education. Most of these people have an MBA when they are in the C-suite, and they teach you a lot of how to have a great vision. They teach you well how to implement things, but there is a gap between these two to understand how to communicate
Yes.
actually correctly to go between the different layers of the company and make it a vision that can be implemented into solutions.
On all levels, on all levels.
Yes. Yes.
When did you decide, when did you recognize that you are not just you're not another project manager? When did you recognize, I am a leader, I am an entrepreneur, and this is where I'm going to be going? Like, what kind of reactions did you have? What kind of internal conversation did you think of that made you clearly see, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not just like another project manager.
It's a big question because
It is.
I always think that I'm a project manager. I always think that I add leadership, and I'm a very strange, I mean, I think for me is the best way of being a leader, but after it's my opinion. I'm not a leader that want to have the light on, usually. I prefer to be in the shadow, help people to do their job and do what is make it happen. And I think it's what a leader is. It's not putting himself in the shine and making it the best. I mean, we heard about a lot of people that are just in the light, but how fast they are disappearing, these people. And how they are happy because they are just looking for the recognition of others. And for me, being a leader is not waiting for having others to recognize you as a leader, but having people that following you, that believe in your vision. And it is really when I started to explore really the word leader, because I wanted to see why people on the social media was always telling, oh, if you are a good manager, you are a leader. And for me, these two topics are totally separated in a way and linked in a way also. But what I will tell is leadership is really inspiring others, making things to follow you. That you have the authority or not the authority to do it, people follow you. Yeah. Manager is for making the things happen that when you have the authority.
As an impact, I totally agree. I totally see what you're talking about. When you think about, when you read this, 8% of the companies are actually able to, put strategies in alignment with them. What is the gap that you immediately saw and that you thought to yourself, I'm going to fix this gap? What kind of gap or gaps did you see at that moment, Aurelien?
So first, it was not like this because it was too shocking. And if there is only 8% of the company that doesn't apply it, it cannot be an easy solution. Because we are natural to tell if we have a problem, we will fix it. I mean, we are human, and human has this tendency to always try to fix issues, even with the wrong way or things like this, but they like to fix it.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that because we are human, we try to fix it. We put Band-Aid more than real solution. What I mean is we think that things are not working, so we put more metrics, we put more pressure on people. We make sure that people come back to work to make sure that we have an eye on them. And I don't think it's the right way of doing it for me, because it's a Band-Aid. We are pushing people to put in their box. And I really think that having the Ikigai of each members really align to the vision of the company would be a better way of doing it. And it starts with, for me, understanding what is the purpose of your project and understanding the purpose of your company. I work in a few teams, and I remember one of my developer was working with me, and he was not understanding why we were doing this. He was just doing the code, delivering the solution. It was working, but he didn't have the understanding of what the stakeholder was requesting, what was the solution. And we have tendency to dictate the solution before even listening what are the requirements. And it is all part of this issue of how we think, how we build our implementation, and the decision is taken too high in the company. It is the C-level that decide what should be the solution, when it should be really at the level of the employee. We tell what is the vision, we tell what we want, we communicate it, and if all our purpose are aligned, all our vision are aligned, it is the employees that will find the best solution. And it's really in the model of the coaching, it's exactly the same thing. I'm an executive coach, or you are a coach also, and we are not telling, oh, you need to do this really. We ask questions, we work with the people to find what will be the best solution, and after we help them to give the resource or the elements that need to be done to reach this goal, but we don't dictate the solution. And having a coaching mindset, I will tell, will be a great way of solving this issue of developing a better leadership and strategy to implementation of a solution.
Absolutely. Now, you keep saying this big word, which is purpose. It just comes naturally through your dialogue. What does this big word mean, Aurelien? People just use it, but what does it really mean? What does the word purpose mean?
I don't know if you watch this great tech talk, and if not, please go to look at it by Simon Sinek. It's about, it starts with a why, and it's really eyes-opening tech talk, and it's really linked with this Ikigai, but I will explain you. As I remember it, he explains that we, most of the time, look at product as what we are offering to people or how we can solve these issues. But we rarely work on showing the why. And the small amount of companies that work on the why make a lot of more result in general by the fact of inspiring people. For example, how does the iPhone arrive on the market? We had a need to really be connected, be able to see internet everywhere in the things. I remember I was still having my Sony N97, if I remember well. It was amazing. I was able to have like a small computer, having internet and things like this. And I was really rejecting at this time the iPhone. And I'm still not the biggest fan of iPhone, if you know me well, because I'm more on another way. Probably because I was more used of Microsoft, and the way Apple is thinking their software make me more gather. I mean, I don't feel it intuitive for me, but they think really well, Apple at this time. They were telling, we have a phone. It is something that we are going everywhere. What the world is really needed is to be able to be connected everywhere and be able to connect with internet, having all these different tools. And I don't know if you remember how the world was before iPhone appeared, but I already forgot a lot of things. I mean, when you speak about a cassette, when you speak about an MP3 things, I mean, there were a lot of things that changed. I mean, I have the compact disc when I was young. I have all my DVDs and Blu-ray.
Of course.
And everything disappeared. Everything is, and why? Because these people were inspiring. They had a purpose of telling, oh, you need something that is perhaps not in your mind yet, but I will tell you that if you use this, the world will change. And it is really what is the purpose. Having a vision, something that drives you so strongly that even people don't see it yet, they will follow you because it's inspiring.
What about if you walk into a company, Aurelien, and you're talking to an employee who has only one purpose, and this purpose is to make a living, is to put the food on the table for his kids. He does not care about the world being connected. All of this does not have any meaning for him. The only meaning for him is to make a salary out of this and just, take care of his family. How do you, I mean, handle that kind of situation?
I will tell it's a great purpose already. I mean, having food on the table and make sure that your family is able to eat and things like this, it's already a purpose. It's something that we all need to do. We need to take care of ourselves. And what I will tell is this person didn't fulfill yet a way of being secured enough to be able to go to the next level of the pyramid of Maslow. So what I will do is help him to really fulfill this purpose, make it work, understand how we can make it something that is secured and that he can project himself in the future. And from there, slowly, we will go to the next level of Maslow, that is finding another purpose in your life until you really realize what is your real purpose for life. But we always start with a minimum. That is having a roof, having food, and making sure that we are healthy. And it is the basic for all human. If we cannot fulfill this, we cannot go upper.
Yes,
and I think
I agree.
This is the reason this person is with this purpose, having just this level of needs, because he focuses on what is important for him right now. And when you start to fulfill and feel the security of this level of the pyramid of Maslow, you will be able to grow to the next level. After, there is people that just want to focus on this area and stay in this, and it is okay. It is probably not one of my clients.
Okay? Is it okay for them to stay at this area? I mean, is it okay if they decide to stay in this area for life?
I will tell they will not be as fulfilled as they could be. And I would push them, if possible, to go to another level and finding their fulfillment in their life. But if they don't want and they are satisfied with this, I mean, it's okay. There is people that don't need to be CEO of their companies. There is people that are very happy with their technical skill. And I will never push somebody that is very good in technical, that don't want to go in leadership, to go to leadership. It will be the worst way of doing something for people, because I see very good people in technical, as soon as they put in the leadership role, it is a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Everything fall apart. They are not happy because they are not performing as they used to be. And people, they will just close. I mean, everything will go wrong. You will have micromanagement. Everything will go wrong. When you put the right person in the right place, everything open. And looking at what you are good at, what you love to do, what you value, and if you value your family and you are paid for valuing your family, it's what you need to do. If there is something that is not fulfilled in this area or something, move, because it's a journey, a life. You may have an ikigai today that will be different tomorrow. Yeah. And it is what's happened in my life. I wanted to learn more about technology. I saw that it was not what I wanted. I work a little more in leadership. I love leadership, but having all the pressure of the team on me and protecting all my team was not mandatorily the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to help people to grow and help them to be the best at what they are. And it was what pushed me more in the coaching, because I was able to enable and empower people to be who they need to be, thanks to multiple techniques. And Ikigai is probably the topic that we discuss the most so far, but there is a lot of other topics that can help you to be better at being a leader.
And I'm sure we're going to be opening conversations for these two. What is the main strength that you have, Aurelien, that your clients will lean on in order to become stronger, to improve their awareness, in order to improve understanding their purpose? What is the strength that they will lean on?
I made a lot of mistakes when I was working in my previous company. So it's one of the biggest strengths that I have, because I had a lot of weakness. And I really think that having failure and learning from your failure is a very good way of being better and helping people, because people that always succeed, great for them. But if there is an obstacle that happens to them, they will have more difficulties to adjust and find the right way to address it. So I have my lesson learned in my life. I did very, very well in a lot of domains, but also I made a mistake, and it reminds me, and probably the people that will listen to me will relate, because I speak about this topic a lot. Is I was working in a company, and we were implementing something for the year, and everything was scheduled all the year long. And about 2 months after the beginning of the year, we had key stakeholders that came to me and tell me it is very important to implement these features. Very important, and I want to highlight this word, was not the right word. It was very urgent. It was not important, because people in the C-suite see things that looks very important for them, but they use the word important when they think it's more urgent. And me, when he came to me, I tell, okay, if it is important, I reprioritize everything. I make these developments that took a month, and everything was delivered at the end of the month as we promised for this new feature. But what I failed to communicate correctly is, because there is this new feature that came, it delay of 1 month everything.
Oh.
And I learned this for, I mean, I had multiple other mistakes, but this one was the one that marked me the most, because it was very close for me when the delivery of the next month arrived, and they were expecting something that was not ready because we delay of 1 month, and I have to explain the reason and how it's happened. And what I realized from this experience is, first, communication is essential, and stakeholder management is essential. It's one of the topics, but to focus really on what is important more than what is urgent. And I will define important, because it's a great word that I use here. Important is meaning that it is aligned with the vision of the company. It is aligned with the purpose. It's aligned with what you want to do. It's something that needs to be done. Urgent is just, I need something to be done. That it is important or not, I want to have it. And it can be very, very challenging as a very entry-level project manager, or even mid manager, or even when you are senior manager and you have a C-suite person that tell you, you need to do this to challenge people. But this skill of just telling how this align with the strategy of the company can change everything.
Yeah.
Because if the person is able to tell you, it is not aligned with the company and I want this to be done, you tell, it is your choice, but you know that you delay something that may be most of value. The return on investment may be lost here. And I had an interview in June for a position, and they were asking me, so if there is one C-suite person that come to you and tell you that he need this to be done as soon as possible, you will tell him, because of the return on investment, you will delay his things. I would prefer to challenge it than telling him, yes, let's do it, because it doesn't make sense for me to work on a item or element that doesn't have a return on investment. They need to be realizing that even you are the CEO, if you don't understand that you are pushing something that is not aligned with what you are telling, you need to perhaps rethink your priority, or perhaps even rethink your purpose. It can be the purpose that is not aligned with what you can do, and rethinking it and resharing it in a better way that is aligned with what you want us to do, that is urgent, and aligned with your other purpose that is not shared, may make more sense. But I really believe that the matrix of Eisenhower is something that people will use more, because it will simplify a lot the time and the prioritization of people.
I agree with this, and I think that's the very big reason why the corporate richness and the corporate loyalty is losing its zeal. And the moment you just put pressure on somebody, whether it's under the title of urgency or whether it's under the title, this is the desire of the untouchable, board members, or any kind of pressure which comes, across, you just stop people's thinking. You're just freezing the thinking of a creative person, of an experienced person, of a consultant. And then why want to hire somebody when you're not going to be allowing them to think? It's so unfair, in that sense. And I loved it when you said, I will challenge that, because actually, if you don't challenge everything that the current system is imposing, what are you doing? You're just going with their flow, and you're not really helping them. So, I mean, it's like, why would we want to play the game of authority? And why would we want to please, like, people at the level of being an entrepreneur? Why would an entrepreneur want to please, the desire of a CEO or a board member who's making a wrong decision for the company? Like what is your take on that part, Aurelien? Like, shouldn't entrepreneurs be, acting in a way that has more integrity, or having a better reputation in that sense? What do you think? Like, what's going on in the real world?
I'm part of one of the subgroup in the Forbes Council that is about culture architect. And it is a group where we have multiple coaches that discuss about culture in the companies, and we try to exchange ideas, and we try to work together on this different way of thinking. And what make me think a lot, because we have this meeting every 2 weeks with this group to just a little more discuss and see how we can improve this culture element. But I feel, when I see the world, and there is a lot of posts on social media also that tell leave your company if they are not aligned with you and things like this. The first element of it for me is ask the right question in the interview when you start. For me, it's starting to understand, does its culture, the vision of the company, really align? And don't look at the website telling the great value that they all share, that is people, benefit, and all this, and helping the world. The reality is never what you read on the website. This is the public branding of the company.
Yeah.
Ask the question of what you think is very important in the company from the interview. And don't tell they are interviewing me, so I need to make me small. You are the big one. They need you to make the company work. If they don't, value what you bring to the table, this is not the right company from the beginning. So when people tell you leave a boss and not a company, it's true in a way, but it's also asking the right question from the beginning that help you to see how the company value your opinion, how they understand what you prioritize, what is important for you and what is not. There is companies that are great, but that will not value life balance. And I don't want to put some name in it because I don't want to tell bad any, but
It'll be
I value these
embarrassing.
companies. There is companies that have great profit. People are really working hard for it and they have the return on investment that is expected. And it is great, but it's not for everybody to work in a company where this culture is. And if it is great for you, this is what you need to work for. But there is people that value more the life balance, they value more being working from home. And there is other companies that are valuing this same type of element. And it's where I will think you need to prioritize your effort on finding the companies that reply to your vision and interview correctly the company and not be interviewed by the company.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. Is it you feel, do you feel that this is your responsibility to show and properly display your value before you get into that kind of, meeting with the company leaders? It's your responsibility to make them understand like your purpose, where you're coming from, your weight, the value added that you can be adding to this place. Is it your responsibility?
It's come back to the question that you asked me perhaps 2 or 3 questions before about a person that think about only the money. And this person will not value anything else than the money. So he will interview the person to just have the job. And this is great because he will have the job, he will have the money, he will have something to put on the table for his children, and it will be okay. If the person was putting his mind at the level of just, I need money, but in reality, he wanted to fulfill another area that can be, I want to have life balance with my children. Because when you state it, you tell, I want to put food on the table. You didn't tell, I want to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
And this element can be something that is in the hidden part of these things of putting the food. And you need to really understand that this hidden part of the requirement of spending time with your family is essential for you. And you need, in this case, to ask differently your question and make sure that you fulfill this element. So for me, it starts always with your why, with your ikigai, understanding why you are doing this job. Is it because it is something that is fulfilling and will give you not only in the job, but in your life, what you expect? Or does it make you a little uncomfortable to go to this specific company? I saw some people that were interviewing for companies that they don't believe in, like oil and gas. They tell, oh, I will earn a lot of money in this. I go there, but they don't value it. Another topic that I see a lot is the people that are working in finance. They are very, very fulfilled by the money, but not fulfilled in their life. Most of the people that I speak that are in the finance. And sadly, I see this because for me, there is people that are very good accountant, very good at what they are doing and love to do it. But if you take the decision to go in this area just for the money, you will know that you will be really sad and unfulfilled all your life just to have money, and you will not even have the time to spend this money because the finance is always taking you the beginning and the end of the month. You have 2 weeks per month where you can do something, And even during this time, you are required to be around because there is other things that happen. So it will not allow you to enjoy your life in the side. So you need to find really what you want before going in any things. And it's come back to the being ethical also to yourself. When you start a task and you think it is not something that need to be done, tell your manager or the person, I don't think it is the right things to do. I think there is a better way of doing it. It will cost perhaps $10,000 more, but the return on investment for all the company can be higher.
Way more.
It can be not in money. We are always looking at what is the return on investment monetarily, but there is also return on investment in the culture, the engagement, the performance. There is a lot of other non-tangible elements that can be measured. And
which will eventually
sadly,
translate into money. So as I mean, it's going to be all profits in the end. If you know, if they improve any aspect, it's going to eventually, you know, filter on the money, on the bottom line.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But most people see the money directly.
First,
so it's
first. They see it first.
Yeah, first.
Yeah.
Yeah, first. Yeah, you're right.
When people when people prioritize things in a like in an illogical or an irrational way, Aurelien, and this can be like starting from a junior level employee to a C-suite employee or C-suite, you know, person. It's probably because of a blind spot, like you were talking about neurolinguistic programming. So they're probably wired, their thinking is wired in a way that there are blind spots that they're missing all the time. They're not seeing it. And what is your technique to actually make them see their blind spot? So they don't see that this is a problem. How do you make them see it, become aware of there is a blind spot that they're missing?
I would like to use a story before replying to your question itself. I love stories.
I love stories too.
This is about an elephant that was in India. When he was small, he had a small cord that was attached to a pillar. And all his young age, he was not able to break this cord. So he was blocking this. And when he grew, he didn't try anymore to break this cord, but it still has the same cord attached. And we are all in the same type of mood. We are thinking that because we were not able to do something when we were young, or we were told we need to do this, we build a limiting belief from the beginning. And I use a lot this story, and it's actually one of my previous coach that shares this story with me, and it resonates a lot with me. I was really, wow, it's crazy because this elephant, he just make a small move and he break this cord and he can escape and not have anything. And just because we condition ourselves in a certain way, we are still keeping this as a reality. So my way of looking at this is looking at understanding a little the way the person thinks and what are the beliefs that are attached to this person. Understanding, is it something that the person really believes that it is the truth, or it is just something that was built and he can unlock very quickly because I tell him, is it really something that is true? And he tells, yeah, I don't think it is true, you're right. And they will work on it. And this is when you have the aha moment. And we all love this as coach because it's like there is a light in the eyes, everything is lighting up, you have the smile, everything, you are, oh my God, some things that I didn't see, and it was so easy to unlock like this. But sometimes it's a little more complex than this. There is multiple limiting beliefs that are attached to this behavior or this way of thinking, and you need to really explore a deep session where you understand the different layers that block you from there. It can be because you don't have the wish to do it because you resist it and you are not ready. And it's okay because we are not always ready to do everything at right now. I mean, I had some client, they want to be in the C-suite, and they tell me, oh, but your program of leadership is very great, but I don't have the time for it. And it is one of the things that I like and hate in the same time, and not because I will not have him as a client, but, and I know that I will have him as a client because it is something that he just delay. And I think it's not serving yourself to delay this, but sometimes you need to process some other things before processing the things that you think it's important. And it's really working with the awareness, making him aware of this element that is the limiting belief. Do you want to work on it or not? And if they don't want to work on it, make them aware that it can be changing their life. And it's really something that works for me too, because I was a software developer. I was trained a little in project management. I always loved project management, but I never thought that I can be a project manager. I never did it. So when I did it, I started to make a lot of mistakes, and I could have told myself, oh,
Not for me.
I'm very bad at this. I have a lot of failure. My clients are not happy. They are always complaining about what I'm doing. But I perceived in it. I continue to do it. I learn from it. I improve, and I break some limiting belief that I had, and I went to the next level. Then I was always conditioned from my young age that when you go to one company, corporate America or corporate things, you stay in the company. And I have to take the decision to leave the company and go to another job. And it was still in the same domain, more or less, of project management. And I had to grow also and take the courage to tell, okay, no, I'm ready to go to the entrepreneurship. It's linked to project management because I'm doing executive and leadership, but it's very different, the coaching. It's a lot of more selling, it's a lot of more rapport building. It's helping people knowing what they need to do, but not being able to tell them always. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's very frustrating, and it's a change. And I have I need to break, and I still have a lot of limiting belief that I'm sure that that are my blind
As we
spot,
all
and I'm
do.
working to break them. But recently, I was a little reluctant to share my program to people that were more senior than me when I was working with them. I was, what I can bring to these people, if they are already in the position of executive or they are already senior leaders, why I will bring value. But slowly I break this belief of they don't have to learn from me to they have to learn from me, because I have an experience that is totally different from them.
Exactly.
I learn things that they don't know yet, and they will teach me also things, but I'm very beneficial to everybody, and my program are helping them to do something and build the next step to grow their career. And it is what I rarely break, and I will tell you in this week, actually, my belief, because I started to send this message to people that were more senior. And I had a very good meeting yesterday with one of these senior leaders that helped me to relate with them. They didn't wish at this time to invest in my program, but it's not the problem. It's breaking this belief that I
Yes.
cannot have somebody to come to me. And it
Yes.
is a limiting belief that I have to break for myself.
Absolutely.
And
Like,
I was very happy to be able to break it.
I mean, simply it's just because you're not under the same pressure. So you can definitely help them with a thing or two because you're not under the same pressure that they are under. And you have a lot of things to show them around. I mean, you can show them around, you can open new ideas for them that they don't have time to even think about. and it's a very fulfilling experience. So circling back to, I think you said a keyword when you said process. When I listen to them and start processing what they say, I think this is the part which like people sort of skip. I want to process what you say. And do you think it's like your responsibility in that sense, using what you said regarding asking them the right questions? So to make the decision to actually process and try to make them understand and view in multiple ways, in endless ways, relentlessly, until you make them see what they're missing on, instead of rather just clashing with them and not agreeing with them and going. So you take this on as a responsibility, Aurelien, to process what they say and use the questions, your power of flexibility and asking them questions, the right questions, to make them sort of pause and think and see it in a different way.
This is a very good question. Thank you for asking it. And actually, I think the coach is responsible to improve the awareness of his client, and it is his only role. It's helping him to be aware of what the person doesn't see and make them sure that they take action for the elements that they want to do. After, I want to use another story that is very common. You can take a horse to the river, but you cannot force him to drink.
Yeah.
And I really think that we have the role of taking this person to the river and make them see what they have to see, but we cannot force them to change. It's not our responsibility to make them change. Our responsibility is to help them to see what they don't see, help them to understand what are the consequences of not taking these actions. And after, it is their responsibility to commit and take the actions that need to be taken.
What if you give them time, Aurelien? What if you give them time and keep asking them forever until they see?
I mean, I think I'm sharing a lot of social media. I'm always pushing a lot of cues. I will always want to help them. So I will share the information as many times as I can and make sure that they are aware until they tell me, no, I don't want to hear it at all. And even there, I will be more subtle, but I will try to share this information
Isn't that beautiful?
to them,
Isn't that
make
beautiful?
sure that they grow. But if they don't want to take a step on it, as a ICF coach, I cannot make more than this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, time is the biggest, changer. I mean, for them to say yes or no, I mean, that's the given point in time. You never know if you reapproach them later, what's going to be their perspective of this entire thing. But I mean, yeah, I think it has to be coming from them. And it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. Give me your opinion on this, Aurelien. Do you think it's like our role as coaches to consistently and continuously, even if they push back hard, that we still send messages or signals in a very subtle ways that sort of makes them.
This is a very interesting question because it's as a coach, I'm pretty sure that we all feel we send too many messages to people and we feel that at the time they will just hate us. And what I think is, I saw multiple times where I was not ready to do a specific program because it was just not the time. Either I just enrolled in a program and I'm working on this program and I cannot do two programs that do the same thing in the same time. And I will highlight one program that I was enrolled at the beginning of this year. It was a program where there were people that I was delegating my work of reaching to people to a company that was arranging for me webinars where I can speak with my potential clients. there were multiple wrongdoing, in my opinion, in this way of doing it, because they were reaching to people, putting people that maybe a lead into a room without really asking what are the pain point, or telling me really what was the element that I need to speak with them. So I was speaking about different topics that are very interesting. They were about the digitalization, that was emotional intelligence. I did Ikigai, I did multiple topics, but at the end, the people that were coming there were neither a lead, neither really interested in the topic that I was presenting, because I was not able to understand this. And I spent money in this program, and I try it. I saw that it didn't work with me. I work with another company that was aligned with how I am. That means build the rapport, speaking with people, making all the nurturing and things like this. But at the end, I was building this rapport, but people were just waiting for what he will sell for me. And it was actually making the opposite of what I wanted, because the person was waiting for me to tell what it's what I will say. Without, no, I mean, I wanted to be kind, build the rapport, and be somebody that is really genuine. But because the person was just waiting for what I will offer to them, this rapport was not good. So now I learned that I need to be very assertive, to tell directly what I'm offering, so people understand. I'm offering this, and I'm here to support you. I'm not here to sell you something. I'm here to help you to grow, to develop this specific skill of leadership, because it's my niche, working on leadership and developing really the leadership and not the project management. Huh? I want to really accentuate on this, is really being able to inspire others, have a vision that people want to follow, and make this, and telling them, this is what I'm offering. I can do after a relation with people, but being straightforward from the beginning, I saw that it works better, because people know what to expect.
Absolutely, I agree. What is the sign that you can see? So say, for example, you're approaching somebody who had a blind spot on something, and then you threw a question, you ask them a hard question, they're beginning to think, they pause, they're internalizing all of this. What is a thing that they would do, or like a behavior that they would do, or thing that they would say that would show you that this person is opening, you know, a new vision, is opening a new awareness, is almost becoming ready to change? What is a sign that you would observe?
The sign is very easy, and you already tell it in the question, is a pause. When somebody starts to pause, that means they are really thinking. If you have a conversation and the person speaks very quickly, doesn't have really a pause, that means it's something that is fluent for them. And sometimes it's where you need to be very careful, because they will have limiting belief when they reply very quickly. And you need to listen for these cues, these small words that you need to hear. And as coach, we are trained, but we are always need to be even better at listening and finding these small cues, the misalignment between what you tell and what you do with your body language. You have also a movement that can happen, being going in front or being back, being all these small cues that we are observing as coach, because we are able to be taught about this. But it's a lot of small cues that help us to tell, oh, it's a real topic or it's a fake topic. So this is why I don't like to coach actually via telephone, because you don't see all these cues that are not real. So the best way of coaching is one-on-one, but it's face-to-face. And it's very difficult because now we are all virtual. So the second one will be something like a virtual meeting that we are doing right now, where you can see the person. I will tell that I will accept perhaps one session where we don't have the camera because of some
Emergency.
circumstance of doing something around other things. But if I see that it is more than one session, I will tell, I think this coaching cannot work if we cannot see each other,
Yeah, right. It's
because
a
there
sign
is
of
a
lack of
lot of
commitment.
things.
Ah,
Yeah, there is a lot of things that, I mean, we tell that about, if I'm not wrong, 80% more or less of our communication is non-verbal.
yes,
That means
yes,
body
yeah,
language and all this. And if you remove this 80%, there is something that you miss that can be very important.
exactly,
So to
exactly.
reply to your question, because I want to reply to your question, what will be the signs that tell me that the person start to have a moment? Usually when you start to go deeper to yourself, you will have the audition digital. That means you look at yourself and you speak to yourself. So your eyes have tendency to go on the left, bottom left. The bottom left, when you, well, for you, it will be your bottom left. If I look at you, it's my bottom right. So it's the auditory digital. That means you speak to yourself. That means you
Wow,
start to
wow.
really think about it. So it's one of the cues that I can look at. The person will also slow down, because when you start to think, your brain use also the kinetic system, because you start to have a kinetic feeling. The feeling are a system that is slower in your brain, so you will have a reduction of the speed of your speech. You will be more calm usually, or you can be more nervous, and it is also something that you can see by the way they look, but also the way they speak. And when you have the pose, you have the eyes, you have the body that is engaging or disengaging, you can see that it starts to have something that is happening physically that is more than just something that you are discussing about.
Wow, I love this. It's like beginning, you notice that there's an internal conversation. They want to explore their feelings about what you just said. They want to remember things and try to reconnect if this makes sense for them. So that's like slowing down and sort of beginning to listen to their internal voice. Isn't that right, Aurelia?
Yeah, exactly.
What is the message that you would say to people who insist to be fast, who insist to live in the pressure, on the pressure vibe, who insist not to go deep enough in their thinking, sort of self-resisting leaders, or people who want to call themselves leaders out there in the world?
And you make me think. I will tell, the important is that you need to process the information slowly, and by repeating slowly, it's like a wall, I will tell. When you hit it the first time hard, you don't see any change. But if you do it 4, 5, 10 times, slowly you will have a bridge, and the bridge will increase, and slowly it will break, and you will be able to see the light in the other side of the wall. So it's a little the same. You may have people that are resisting, bringing to their attention this topic at different time in the different session can break slowly this limiting belief, and one day they will be able to have the brain, the wall that prevents them from really taking the actions that they need, that will be weak enough for them to tell, okay, let's explore what is happening in the other side of this wall. So I will tell, speaking with them, putting a little of awareness in this, putting repetitive awareness, and slowly making it working. After, you can use also some neuro-linguistic programming techniques if the person is resisting and wish to do it. So it's a little complex. Let's imagine a person, let's imagine a person that is coming back from a war and he has a post-traumatic PST, he will have a lot of resistance at the beginning to do it. And what we use as a coach to remove these things is to tell, we will use an anchor. And what it is a small gesture. When you feel this, do, for example, 2 type on your hands. And you repeat multiple times this. Then after, you think about something that is positive, where you are happy with your family, everything is good, and you do it in the same time as you type here. And you replace the memory from one that is negative to one that is positive. Yeah. But it is something that is more deep. I use more neuro-linguistic programming to help people to be better at communicating, influencing, using the wording. But it's one of the ways that you can also accelerate the progress of people by making some change and building new way of thinking to people and just creating emotion at the right time.
Wow, this is super deep. What is the kind of ripple effect that you are trying to, you're working on it every day? What is the ripple effect that you want to create through the leaders that you help in the world, that's hopefully going to be rippling onto bigger circles and will be having, like, a global effect, Aurelien?
For me, I want to make people that are managers become leaders. And it is very difficult to understand for people just that this shift make a world of difference. Because if you just work as a manager, you will speak about micromanagement, you will speak about a lot of things. If you start to have the mindset of telling, I don't want to be a manager, I want to be a leader, you will not have this issue of micromanaging because you are not attached to the daily task, to the management, to this small task, but you are more attached to the outcome. Yes. And build what you want to do. So you having a vision and telling people, I trust you. You will deliver what I need because I tell you what is my vision and I'm clear about my vision and you understand what it is. You join my cause. So no, let's just implement it and make it real. And making sure that people that are in your team are empowered to do what they are, that they are the best to do is probably the best thing that I can do. Inspire people to understand how they can inspire better others.
Absolutely. And
executive presence, vision, and all this, it's hard skills that you can learn in a way. But being a leader, having all these soft skills, and transition from the management to the leadership, I think it's really something that will transform the world.